Okay.
Okay. I have enabled the recording. So this is our very first
Is
session.
that fine?
Yes, it is fine. You can just
Okay.
do full screen.
Yeah. Is this okay?
Yes. Yes, it's very okay.
Mm.
Okay, I will just take 2 minutes and then you can take the floor.
Okay. So we will start directly.
Yes, we will be starting directly. I will be introducing you in the in text session or content. I will be introducing you.
Okay.
Hello everyone, good morning. It's me Kamna Kafle from Nepal, and today we are going to conduct the one session related to sustainable practices in agriculture. It will be help you in doing how can we start the agriculture, how the our expertise started, being the graduate like a PhD holder, how he is engaged in the agriculture. We will be learning about that things later, but right now he is giving us presentation on sustainable practices in agriculture. So let us start the presentation without taking further delay. So welcome Prem Kumar sir.
So thank you, Kamana. So let me start with the presentation. Am I
Okay.
audible?
Yes, you are audible. You can take the floor.
Okay. So basically, if you look at anybody who wants to start his practice in agriculture, we have to understand where to start. So that becomes the starting point. Anybody who's totally not aware of any practices or how to do, where to start. Okay. So I just made it for a novice person or novice agri expert or agri graduate or even non-agri graduate, because most of the countries like India, Nepal, we are from agricultural background. It is embedded in our family system and societal system. So everybody would be knowing some bit of it, so obviously. So first, we start with the water source. Is it rain-based terrain or is it river-based, or it is most of the cases now we have gone for borewell and water pump based. So what is the water source that decides your affluence of involving yourself in agricultural projects or cropping? So conventional water management, either you go for directly digging that waterways with your handheld tools, or you can go for PVC, that is plastic pipeline or drip irrigation systems. Drip irrigation system needs some sort of investment. There is a subsidy-based incentive from the respective state or government. We can go for it. Next one is power and electricity. There are multiple options. Today in developing countries like India, they are going for subsidized or even free electricity source. You can even go for solar-based or wind-based electric systems, which will drive your your water source, that is basically your borewell. In addition to that, if is going to be heavy rain-based terrain, you should understand your crop. I mean, your land's terrain structure, the water must not stagnate, especially during the sowing time. So proper watershed management is a critical factor. It has to drain away from your field. It has to go to the nearest small waterways that joins into the main river. So that becomes the one of the another important things. If not, your seeds will not germinate properly. Second is rain season. When is your rain season? When is your heavy rain season? During heavy rain season, it is not possible to sow your seeds. It can be any plant, vegetable. So that is another ingredient that you need to digest. So this I have taken the main cropping season for Nepal. It is somewhere in May. May season is in July, October. Winters in November, February, and summer. The full heat is going to be in March, June. This have taken from the government of Nepal's agriculture ministry's website. Secondly, I can't grow some European or US vegetable in India directly or in Nepal directly. I should to the regional conventional crops and vegetables that is planted, because that is more accustomed to your climatic conditions. So they are self-sustaining. So your regional farmers, you discuss with them, you decide what to crop or what to plant in which season. And this is another critical factor that decides your bounty of harvest. Okay? So make a list of crops that is suitable for you. So whether you are agri or non-agri based, obviously we'll be expecting returns. So after listing out your crops that can be sold into your field, you decide what are the inputs that will go inside. Where will I sell my final output? Is it to a government procurement center or wholesaler or milling unit? What is my crop acreage? Is it 5 acres, 2 acres, half acre? This is another important factor. Usually, ideally, 3 to 5 acres is generally advisable. Half acre, 1 acre, in nowadays inflated price levels, it's very difficult to make a profitable or a sustainable cropping. So you estimate the various costs. First, you'll have to plow with dry plow, then sowing, weeding, then fertilizer application, water management. You'll have to appoint some laborers for every 1 week or 15 days, depending upon your terrain, labor charges in your particular region. You make a detailed estimate, and this has to recover your cost and up and above what you sell in the market or the government center. You'll have to get a positive return, then it becomes profitable. So you decide either you are a marginal farmer or a big size farmer or a small farmer. You can go on an individual based or a cooperative based or joint together based approach so that it is sustainable. Secondly, you can't go for same crop for the season in the entire acreage or coverage. You'll have to go for a mix of crops. Don't put all eggs in one basket. Basket is one investment advice generally taken. So basically, if you look at it, you go for proper crop mix. You go for leguminous plants with any cash crop that becomes ideal. Leguminous plants like groundnut or moong dal. These are leguminous crops. They try to fix the atmospheric nitrogen into the field, and it aids your main crop. So you go for mixed cropping. Okay, this is what is most advised by most agri experts. So, and also you should not repeat the crop every season, same or successive season. You have to go for cutting it out, go for changing of from pulses to cereals, then cereals to leguminous plants, then leguminous plants to any other green leaf cover. So you rotate the crop. It will fix your various nutrients, both macro and micro. Crop cycle duration varies from 60 to 70 days for moong dal, 100 to 120 days for paddy and other crops. Okay? It depends upon your crop. For sugarcane, it goes even up to 10 to 12 months. So sowing, transplantation, and fertilization are different for each crop. So how to get the bountiful harvest? What is the secret? Where is the gold to be digged? Okay, your soil is your gold in simple terms. First, you'll have to understand the soil. As an agri amateur or entrepreneur or a novice person who wants to test your hands on this particular field, first you have to understand the soil. You'll have to need a lot of patience before taking this particular venture. Okay. So many people think doing agriculture is like a very smart or a very incentive oriented or high profit oriented. No, everybody knows it is not a highly profitable oriented venture. It is also risky, like many other domains, but there are large scale farming companies doing good because of various factors. But in today's world, like populated countries like India, Nepal, even China or Pakistan or Bangladesh, there is no other go. It is obviously, it is part and parcel of life. We will have to be involved in this particular agricultural sector in one way or the other. Then only the population can be sustained, because we will have to feed the entire population. The population is also growing day by day. Obviously, there is necessity for the people, citizens of any country to grow crops and feed their country. So obviously, there has to be a balancing act or balancing incentive from the government also to promote agriculture in the society. Okay, if you take countries like Japan, they are pushing the people to go to the rural areas from the cities. Now they are facing big problem. Okay, but in India or Nepal or any other country like it is not so. So obviously we'll have to keep the system alive. So in India, they are giving a lot of incentives for promoting agriculture. Okay, so let me start with soil testing. So understanding the soil. By looking at the soil, we can say this season or this crop will be coming or not if you are really a experienced agriculturist. So how to do the soil testing? You can dig your soil in various places. There's a method for this, for picking the soil sample. You should not pick it from one single area, you have to pick it from multiple areas, mix it, then take a sample out of it. You can give it private labs, government labs, and from the lab report, you can take advice from agri-experts on the fertilization needed on types of crops that can be grown. So that becomes the starting point next to water source. I'm just giving you some sample soil test report. You are able to see this is for my field. I gave it to Crypto. So they are giving what is the organic carbon content. Basically, the nitrogen comes from the organic carbon. The green leaf matter is carbon. So any barren land will not grow very easily. Just have some green content inside. So obviously, you have to insert or implant green content. Then only you can make a barren land to a fertile land. Then we have phosphorus, we have potassium. What is the pH level, alkalinity level? What is the electrical conductivity? So they are giving the various indicators, okay, in this particular chart. For micronutrients also, you can get it. So zinc, sulfate, copper, iron, manganese, these are the micro and macronutrients. From this, you get it, whether it is in a high category, medium category, or a very least category. So based upon that, you apply your fertilization chart. This is a table to understand what is pH, what is EC. Okay, when there is more salt in the water, okay, any organic matter will not survive, and there is also osmotic effect. The water inside the plant will go into the field because it is more salty. Okay, we understand osmosis. You will easily understand the effect of salt and the difficulty by the plants in absorbing the nutrients. For a person who is looking at this chart, it looks like very new, but slowly, if you try to understand this, you will understand the soil. So this becomes the key to success. You can see the EC level, high EC, and directly I can say high sodium or salts in this. You can see the stunted growth in this particular pot compared to the lesser EC, which is more flourishing or growing well in this particular pot. These are the range for EC, pH, organic carbon. We say NPK. This N is obviously coming from carbon, then phosphorus and potash. I'm just giving a sample for rice. Okay, at various stages, I've just taken it from some paddy growing manual from the local government agri center in India, where I do my agriculture. So if you look at it, there are various stages. You do the transplantation from the nursery bed. Then after some weeks, it goes for active tillering. The root nodules get spreaded out. Then panicle initiation. Then coming out of the flowering stage. So most of the cases, it is advisable to apply phosphorus in the form of superphosphate at the beginning, even before transplantation or even before making the nursery, because it is somewhat more hotter in content. It will burn the plant roots, basically, because it is more hot. So basically, you apply superphosphate at the starting phase itself. And later stages, you can apply it in minimal content, because many people, if they do the mistake, the plants will burn. Okay? There's a burning effect of superphosphate or phosphate-based fertilizer. So that is another important thing you have to keep in mind. So split doses. Okay, if you look at it, they stop the superphosphate in the later stages, but you can add it little bit. Okay, and the potash is also another key ingredient for flowering and adding weight to the grains and pulses. I'm just giving you the sample at various growth stages. Okay, what is happening in paddy field? So from the nursery to transportation, tillering, roots are coming out, then panicle initiation, flowering will start, and maturity. Okay, so mostly application of fertilizers, it is recommended in the first initial stages itself. Later stages, you can apply a little bit or very minimal or as needed. But most of the fertilization has to happen in the first 50% or 60% of its duration of crop cycle. That is very, very important. And it has to happen at regular intervals with proper watering, with chemical based or organic based also. So let me look at it, or let me throw light on the basic understanding of what is the use of macronutrient or how to understand NPK. If you go to any fertilizer shop, they will tell urea, superphosphate, or potash. Many people don't have any understanding of these things. It is very difficult to do agriculture because we are accustomed to chemical-based fertilizer for the last 30-40 years because of various experimentation and research, and we want to have faster crop yield. So we are dependent upon NPK-based fertilizers. Why is nitrogen needed? Nitrogen is basically, we say it is for leafy growth or vegetative growth. It is facilitating building of a plant protein from amino acids. Phosphorus is for DNA, RNA component, root development, crop maturity, capturing sun's energy from photosynthesis. So it has its own function. Potassium is for other enzymes. For over 80 enzymes are being generated by potassium. It helps in resistance against diseases, pest attacks, and also helps in proper proper flowering, fruiting, and maturity of your final end product. So phosphorus is another ingredient. Most of the soils will have potassium. Sorry, in the previous thing I told phosphorus, it is potassium. So potassium is another key ingredient. Most of it will be available in your field itself, but sometimes you will have to feed this also because potassium is so far coming from overseas countries. It is getting very costly nowadays to get potassium. Now I've moved to alternates for these NPKs also or supplements for this NPK so that I can reduce the cost in fertilizer application. Okay. Coming to micronutrient, we have boron, iron, chlorine, manganese, copper, zinc, molybdenum, nickel. Zinc is another key ingredient in making your formation of your granules or in the formation of the grains of the cereals and pulses. So zinc is another key ingredient, especially for rice. NPK sources, organic matter, as I said, legumes will fix atmospheric nitrogen. Superphosphate coming from sulfuric acid or rock phosphate. Basically, it is a rock or a sand type. Okay, it is organic actually. Potassium coming from deposits of rocks again. But for alternates for this, we can find it from oil cakes also. So I've listed out the use of boron. So the micronutrient is also necessary for various the crop processes from sowing till harvest. Zinc, manganese. So NPK deficiency, okay, how you will identify, you'll get the leaves get little bit lesser green. There is a leaf chart for this to identify there is some deficiency of nitrogen. Phosphorus, you can see in the tips of the leaves, okay, they look burnt, or phosphorus, if it is not properly absorbed also, you look at the burnt condition, okay. Phosphorus is abundantly available in blood and bone-based fertilizers, okay. Potassium, wilting of older leaves, scorched appearance, okay, yellowing of the leaf, okay. So add potassium at the flowering or fruiting stage, which is very, very important because proper formation of the seed or the content or from the flower to seed stage, it is very, very important. So micro and macronutrients are you can generate from farmyard manure as well as cow urine. Okay. Poultry manure is the highest in NPK content. Dropping of sheep and goats also have more NPK content. So basically, if you go for the first time into a barren land or after a longer gap, it is advised to go for application of farmyard manure. Then you start with NPK. So what are the alternates that we are using, especially organic based? In organic based methods, if you look at it, we are using castor cake, cottonseed cake, then we have coconut cake, groundnut cake, then we have sesame cake. So these are the various oil we use in day-to-day life for cooking. So most of it, the end product or the waste product after extracting the oil from the oil seeds, you get it in the market. You go and take it, you dump it in a big drum with water, with cow urine and fresh cow dung, and you make it ferment for at least 20 days or 40 days. There is a count for it, so that it will ferment and it will generate the various microorganisms that are needed for the soil. Okay. So this is the component in blood meal, fish meal. Okay, there are more phosphorus, as I said. Okay, you can see here. So crop rotation, need for carbon content in the soil, and the role of microbes. Okay, the crops, if they want to eat properly, for example, as a human being, we consume yogurt or curd, which is made from milk. It has got a lot of bacteria, which is beneficial for our digestive system. Similarly, for the crops also, it needs or it is dependent upon the various microbes, that is especially the beneficial bacteria and fungi. Okay, it acts on a mutual beneficial role to the crops, so that it can absorb all this NPK content in the most organic way. Without microbes, the plants cannot exist. This is the simple truth about agriculture. So, in addition to NPK, we are also using Panchagavya. There is a method from the village system. Most of the rural or conventional farmers are already aware of it. Okay, who are into organic methods. Permaculture is another technique which is somewhat a mix of the organic and the Western methods, where they design the terrain such that there are all kinds of crops, and it is self-sustaining with all the organisms and insects. It will have forest trees, it will have fruiting trees, it will have vegetables, it will have cereals, it will have pulses. It's a different concept. It ensures cycling of the various the cyclic nature of the sustainability of a naturally existing ecosystem is ensured in the permaculture technique. So we are just taking one or two inputs from this and applying it for our regular or commercial agriculture. So decomposing all your organic content, this is another thing. Earthworms are farmers' friends. So vermicomposting is also possible. You can use cow dung and vermicompost and take it and put it directly. Or application of farmyard manure in your field will also ensure this, to ensure earthworms come up and aids your soil fertility. Okay. Crop diversification, as I told, we'll have to go for example, in a year, there are 4 seasons, that is 3 months for each season. And there is a gap between each season. I take it another 3 months is taken away. So there are only 3 seasons. So successive season has to go for rotation of crops. Okay, that's what it is advisable for fixing the NPK content or fertility back into the soil. So there has to be gaps between between successive crop cycles. You can refill with green leaf-based insertion of carbon using daincha leaves or daincha crop or any other crop for the matter. Okay. In South India, we go for multiple seeds of maybe like 30 or 40 varieties of cereals, pulses, and other vegetables also. They just sow it, make it grow for 15 days or 20 days, such that they come into like 50 centimeters or 40 centimeters height. Then they plow back the green matter into the soil, so that all the types of minerals, fertilization is reapplied into the soil. This is another method. Okay. This I've taken from the publication of Nepal's Agriculture Research Council, NARC. Okay, to understand what is the crop variety available in Nepal. You can see for main rice season, it is Kumal 10 variety. Okay, what is the yield per hectare? Hectare comes around 2.5 acres. Where it is applicable? It is applicable for mid-hills, terrain, or plain area. Okay, similarly for black gram, groundnut, sugarcane, potato. This I have taken about the rainfall pattern. I understand it is somewhere from June, July, August is the peak season. So most advisable to grow rice during the season, and you go for less water dependent crops in the remaining seasons. Terrain wise, what is the rainfall? Elevation I've given some links how to inculcate organic methods. Okay. For example, in my rice plantation, I apply coconut milk with buttermilk. I just mix them and keep it aside for 20-30 days for fermentation. It is highly rich in potassium, or even I can say it is antifungal. I give it as a last spray with potash mobilizer. This is a microorganism which aids potassium consumption by the crop. I mix it with potash fertilizer. I spray it in the last stage at least 20 days or 30 days before harvest. So high potassium is absorbed by the plant. Now, this is one example I am saying about organic method. So multi-grain sowing and plowing. A multi-leaf plant pest repellent. You can pluck 5 or 10 different more bitter taste-based leaves. You can ferment it in cow urine or any other water content for 10-20 days. The extract will come out. You can spray it in your field as a natural pest repellent. Okay. So you can even use on the ridges, on the borders of the land. There are some plants. If you keep it, most of the pests will go to the border plant. It will not come to the main field. These are natural or nature-based techniques which are used generations before. Okay, even the modern science came to India or to Asia. These were used by our own forefathers. Okay, I've given you some useful links here. Okay, due to shortage of time and just skipping it, you can click it and know more about how to go for organic methods. Panchagavya, cow dung, cow ghee, cow urine. You mix it, make it fermented for some 3 days or 15 days or 30 days or 48 days. Okay, these are the contents inside it, and it gives or it promotes effective microorganisms in the field. This I will not say assuredly this is a main fertilizer. It is a add-on. So since our crops are mostly made out of hybrid or crossing, so basically we are dependent upon chemical fertilizer. In addition to that, it will aid you in better yield and better soil fertility. Okay, because I'm repeatedly saying, because in olden days our crop cycle was 6 months based or 1 year based, but we moved to 3 months based crop cycle where there is huge or high consumption of fertilizer. So when to apply these fertilizers, given a chart for Panchagavya, mostly in the initial phases of the sowing, it is better recommended. So I'm just giving you a glimpse of microbial fertilizers and pesticides. Okay. People who are very passionate about organic farming, obviously I recommend biofertilizers and biopesticides. This chart gives you overview about what are the various types of fertilizers. I mean fertilizers, which is nothing but microorganisms that aid in fixing the NPK and micronutrient. Okay, for potassium, it is potassium-based bacteria. For nitrogen-based bacteria. Sometimes it is fungi also. There are various microbes available. To understand about microbes, we need a separate session, and it needs a right person also. I'm not the right person for that. I'm just using all these things for my own agricultural practice. Rhizobium is used for legumes and pulses, groundnut especially, azospirillum especially for rice. If you take VAM again for rice, algae like azolla you can use for rice. Okay, it aids the yield of the crop. Okay, azotobacter we are using in sugarcane. That is about biofertilizer. It aids your fertility. Biopesticides, it acts against the pest, fungal diseases also. So again, we use bacterial and viral based beneficial organisms, okay, to organically control our pests and fungal based diseases. Though it is possible, it is mostly preventive in nature, but sometimes in extreme cases, we are also dependent upon chemical based or normally available pesticides available in the market. Sometimes in extreme cases, we can't go for organic base. We'll have to go for first clearing away the existing fungal and bacterial diseases with chemical fertilizers. I mean, pesticides. Okay, sometimes we can't skip it in case of extreme conditions, because that is the first aid. Then comes all these organic based interventions. Okay, so with that I stop there. Thank you so much, Kamana, for giving me the opportunity. I hope I've given the best, starting from water source, soil, fertilization requirements, okay, cropping, crop pattern, understanding rainfall pattern of your particular terrain, how to ensure your balance sheet and profit statement to ensure profitability, whether to go for a cooperative based or a single farmer based approach. Okay, finally the use of microbes. Okay, this is another important factor in sustainable agriculture, and our conventional and blended methods of organic based inputs is also critical for success. Okay, thank you so much. Any questions from the audience?
No, not any questions. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise. We will be doing the podcast with you in next coming days. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your efforts. So we will be sharing your link and WhatsApp number in the contained that will be in the link. So thank you so much for giving us the time. And then beautiful presentation. It may help to the people who are going to start the agriculture, not only in Nepal, but all over the world. So thank you so much, Prem sir. So we will be in touch with you in coming days. Anything from your side?
No, I'm looking at people who are having problems in facing or in doing agriculture, or people who don't have any guidance in taking up their land for reuse, because some people are keeping it idle. In fact, we need a lot of food production for countries like us. So I would be very happy if it can be connected to the cooperative societies or farmers in a group, so that I can help them in better planning actually. So in fact, my strength is planning and execution. Mostly I plan it so that they'll be in a safer position in venturing into these avenues. This is my expertise, and that is what I take forward this particular agricultural ventures in my own place. Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much.